never saw that, can't explain that, but really happy to be a part of that.
And your brother Shannon said in his 2011 induction speech, I am the only pro football.
Game 1 of the preseason is in the books, and the Lions had a lackluster performance, losing 34-7 in the Hall of Fame game against the Chargers. But there were some positives to pull out of this matchup. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for returning for another video. Let's go through the winners and losers from the Lions' first preseason matchup with the Chargers. Let's go. Before we get into the winners and losers, let's talk about the game overall, because I've heard a lot from Lions fans over these past couple days since the preseason game. And no, a win or a loss in the preseason does not matter, especially for this Lions organization who is looking to build on the depth. They're not looking to play their starters. They're not looking to show that they can win games now. This is all about building towards the season. Also remaining healthy, which they did do in this game. But losing 34-7 and coming out the way that they did was just not inspiring to start the year. A lot of excitement, especially from the fan perspective, wanting to see football. It's been so long. You're craving excellent performances from all of your favorite players, and we just did not get that in this first preseason game. So the concern isn't for the loss, or even that they lost by so many, 34-7. It's really about how some of these depth pieces played during this game. We've shown last year that the Lions, if they cannot remain healthy, will have to rely on some of these depth pieces. And I just worry in regards to some of the position groups as far as the performances that we see, and will they then correlate to the regular season? So no, this isn't reason for panic, and we will see progression as we move forward through this preseason. But let's take a look at the winners and losers from this first preseason game, and we'll move on from there. I think the biggest winner of the first preseason game for the Lions is wide receiver Isaac Tesla. He had 2 catches for 46 yards. In both of those catches, I thought he showed good hands. He was able to run after the catch, and he finished both of those plays. The one miss was a play where he was pretty much bumped off of his route. Now, Kyle Allen did not make the best throw, and he was bracketed with a safety and coverage there, ultimately leading to an interception. But Isaac Tesla showed everything that the Lions hoped that they drafted there in the 3rd round. Remember, they moved up to get him almost 30 spots, and it seems to be paying dividends so far, as it appears he is on his way to be the Lions' future wide receiver. One of the losers I have from this game, and there were many from the Lions secondary, as they seem to be beat early and often. It just so happened that DiCaprio Bootle was spotlighted in this particular matchup, as he was beat on an obvious touchdown there by the Chargers wide receiver, but he was also flagged for a pass interference, and it just seemed like he was behind in coverage all night long. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean to spotlight him individually, as I saw Enos Rakestraw beat in coverage, and really the Lions had fits with the wide receivers for the Chargers throughout this first preseason game. But unfortunately, DiCaprio Bootle was my first loser from this particular matchup. With none of the starters playing in the preseason, obviously running backs Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery were out for the Hall of Fame game. And with some additional injuries to Sione Vaki and Robichaux, it really put Craig Reynolds as the key back here for this first preseason game. And I thought he played really well. So he's definitely a winner from this matchup. He had 10 carries, 38 yards. He did have the only score for the Lions on a 3-yard touchdown run. And he also got out of the backfield for a catch as well. So he really showed his versatility. Craig Reynolds, being the veteran that he is, again, showing up in this first preseason game. Another loser coming out of this matchup was the backup quarterback, Kyle Allen, who started the first half for the Lions, and it was really highlighted by the 2 interceptions. Now, it wasn't all bad. I thought he did look poised in certain situations. I believe he led him on a 15-play drive that ultimately led to a score. He finished the day 9 of 14, 91 yards passing. But again, just didn't make enough positive plays to come out of this in a good situation for the backup quarterback for the Lions. One of the more less obvious winners coming out of this Hall of Fame game matchup, I think, was the outside linebacker / edge, Nate Lynn, undrafted free agent from last year who suffered an injury. I thought he was all over the field in this game defensively, and there wasn't many players that you could spotlight like this. But I just thought he had a knack for getting to the football, and he was involved in almost every play. So he certainly was a winner from this preseason week 1. For me, the biggest loser coming out of this Hall of Fame game was backup quarterback Hendon Hooker, who had second half duties in this game, had the interception, finished 3 of 6 for only 18 yards. But as a third-year quarterback who you're expecting more out of to build and progress into this third season, I'm just not seeing enough. There was not any positivity to pull out of this game for Hendon Hooker. I thought he was still rushed. I don't think he read through his progressions. I thought he relied on his legs still too much, and that's things you want to see get better as Hooker's career progresses, and we're just not getting that so far. A few honorable mentions for winners from this Hall of Fame game. I thought the offensive line in general, Colby Sorsdahl, Dan Skipper, Coyote Owasika, all high PFF grades coming out of this matchup. And again, the offensive line, I thought pass protection was decent. The run game was going well in the first half when Craig Reynolds was in the game, so I thought they did some good things there. Defensively, I think Ahmed Hassanin flashed at times. He made a play. He was able to get a tackle. He showed some moves on the edge, certainly something to build on from this first matchup. And Rock Ya-Sin, who had several quality tackles and showed how his veteran cornerback depth will certainly pay dividends for the Lions defense this season. On the opposite end, some honorable mentions for some losers from this matchup. Tight end Shane Zylstra. I thought he would dominate in this particular matchup, considering you have your backup quarterbacks needing to rely on check down games, short, intermediate passing, and he just wasn't involved enough for me. On the defensive side, I think Enos Rakestraw was highlighted in several misplays and missed coverages. Now, it could be other factors as far as him trying to make up for other defensive backs in those particular plays, but I just thought too many times was he caught in those negative type deep pass plays. We definitely want to see more out of the second-year player.
Incredible moments on the field. What was the best moment of your career?
Getting a chance to play the first game, because that was all I ever wanted to do, Melissa. I just wanted to play in the NFL.
That's going to do it for the winners and losers coming out of the first preseason matchup for the Detroit Lions. What did you think of that first game, 34-7 loss to the Chargers? We know it's a preseason game. Ultimately, the fact that they lost doesn't matter. The score doesn't matter. I just thought some of the things that happened within the game certainly could have been more positive. Let me know in the comments down below. What did you like from this game? What didn't you like? I'd love to hear from you. Thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate all the interaction. Make sure to hit that like button if you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gas Sports. Hitting that notify bell is the best way to make sure you don't miss any future videos, and I'd love it if you become a subscriber if you haven't already. More than anything, make sure to take care of yourself and your mental health. That's more important. I want to make sure you come back and see me on future videos. Have a fantastic day, a fantastic week or weekend ahead. Go Lions.